So I'm going to show you a way that you can remotely control servos from anywhere you like using Arduino Cloud. Servos are motors that you can set to a much more precise position. And these are really the beginnings of robotics projects. And they come up in all kinds of great uses, really good for home automation too. So getting to know your way around a servo is an excellent way to get started with Arduino and electronics projects. So let's take a look at how you can create one that's controlled remotely over Wi-Fi. Okay, so over here I've connected up a small servo, you can see here, to a Maker Wi-Fi 1010. And to set that up, all we've got is, there are only 3 wires. There's 5 volts, ground, and then there's a signal wire which is just connected to pin 1 on the Maker 1010. And I've created a variable here which is an integer number. I've just called it Servo. And when we go over to the sketch, let's just have a quick look through here to see what you need to do. It's pretty simple. I've added here, you can see the Servo library is being used. And I've called it, for the sake of this sketch, I just called it My Servo, which is that's what it's telling it here. And then you can see I've attached My Servo to pin 1 of the Maker 1010. Down at the bottom in void, this is where it's, in the variable commands here, it's telling it to write to the servo, depending on what kind of commands we're sending. So switching over to a dashboard, like a lot of projects in Arduino Cloud, there are multiple different widgets that you can use. For example, let's add a value. And this is just a numeric value that outputs whatever it is we put into it. So we'll link that here. We'll link the variable. Yep. So in here, I think this servo has about 180-degree rotation. So let's put in 180. You can see it turns the armature around. Let's put that to 90. That should put it to about the middle point. Okay. So this is all controlled over Wi-Fi. This Maker 1010 isn't connected to the computer at all. It's connected to Wi-Fi and it's being controlled entirely from the Arduino dashboard. Set that back to 0 and then you can see it. So that's just a really basic example of controlling a servo wirelessly. Now that could be a rotational servo, it could keep going, you could have as many servos connected to that as you like. Great for robotics projects, and as I say, some people make use of them in home automation too. So there's how to get started with them. Go give it a try. Thanks for watching.